What are we doing?
Turn around.
Okay, I'm gonna take the team. I'm gonna take the team.
That doesn't change anything. You still are going to be arrested.
For what? You don't have any proof on me.
No, ma'am, I do.
A few days ago, GloRilla was arrested after federal agents allegedly found marijuana in her house. Following reports that she was just stabbed in prison, the situation is getting considerably more problematic. Prominent industry figures are being accused by several of plotting to set her up. I'll tell you how it all went wrong. These days, GloRilla is in the news for everything from Memphis Queen to jail cell. There are online rumors that she was just stabbed while incarcerated. But before we get into that madness, we need to talk about how she ended up in jail in the first place. Look it over, then. The date is a Saturday night, July 20th, 2025, playing at the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis. GloRilla, whose real name is Gloria Hallelujah Woods, is having a great time. She's getting that bag. The crowd is going crazy, and everything in her world is looking beautiful. Riding high off her amazing record success, she sits comfortably at number 5 on the Billboard 200, giving the impression that her career is on fire. However, some jerks chose to target her crib in Georgia while she was out there entertaining thousands of people and securing the bag. And trust me when I tell you that what follows is among the strangest, most twisted, and most insane things you will ever hear. Consider this. Some obvious bullies decided to break into GloRilla's home around 1:30 in the morning. At this point, everything starts to run completely out of control. These idiots broke into the house without realizing that someone was strapped and ready. Shots were fired, and these cowards ran away like the weak-ass punks they are. This occurred prior to the GloRilla arriving at the crib. She wasn't present, running her business and getting paid the way a real boss should. The trespassers fled. Nobody was hurt. And wouldn't you think that the police would be busy catching these scumbags who have just broken into someone's home? Not true. At this point, the narrative takes a turn that will leave you all feeling completely incensed and wondering how the neighborhood's badges function instead of focusing all of its energies on catching these dangerous crooks who have just scared an innocent family. What do the police decide to focus on, you know? I'm not joking when I say that this next section will blow your head. The police's employment of K9 units and drones indicates that they are making a sincere effort to capture these criminals. However, all changed suddenly when they smelled a plant family. These cops detected a strong odor that was characteristic of illegal substances. All of a sudden, people forgot about the armed burglars who had just committed a severe crime. Instead, while they're out here acting like Nancy Drew and smoking some marijuana, the real criminals are most likely already preparing their next move. Everyone is incensed by this obviously antiquated policing, from the streets to the suburbs. They recruited a whole narcotics task force and secured a search warrant. All of this money and effort is being spent on some marijuana while violent stick-up youngsters are out on the loose in the town. You'll want to throw something at your screen after reading this section. They decided it was more important to find some trees in her bedroom closet than to catch the criminals who had just broken into someone's home with guns. The date is set for Tuesday, July 22nd. Our girl's legal nightmare officially began with this.
GloRilla was later charged with felony possession of marijuana and possession of Schedule I controlled substance. She turned herself in voluntarily at the Forsyth County Jail on Tuesday.
That was when everything changed. When she ended up in jail, the rumors started. Word got out fast. She allegedly suffered an internal stabbing, and that place appears to be insane. Forsyth County Jail isn't just any jail. In this busy, high-stress setting, tensions are high. Inmates are packed into cramped quarters with limited breathing capacity, and visits are scarce. Because they are often overburdened, officers are unable to stop conflicts from starting over the smallest of issues. Some inmates are even forced to undertake manual labor, like cleaning animal shelters, in order to pass the time. In a place like that, anything may pop off at any time. People were outraged that she even had to turn herself in, since they knew she would be getting herself into a problem she didn't cause. Now let's talk about how absurd this situation is. Now allow me to explain how completely crazy this whole situation is. We have a prominent, Grammy-nominated artist who has been the victim of a vicious crime. Her folks are terrorized by some street gangs. Shots are fired in self-defense. For whatever reason, she is the only one who gets put in handcuffs. Meanwhile, the actual armed robbers remain on the loose and are prepared to target the next home. But we have to be absolutely clear that this is not the first time GloRilla has come into contact with Georgia police. These individuals have been watching her behavior for some time, as evidenced by the fact that she was charged with DUI in Gwinnett County back in April 2024. Her legal team came out with a bang, not holding anything back. This arrest demonstrates the perverted interests of law enforcement, the lawyer said simply. They laid forth the facts, and it's critical that everyone hears frank debate.
Ms. Woods was out of town when her residence became a target for a group of home invaders who most likely knew she wasn't there. What they didn't know was she had family staying with her that were traumatized by the violent entrance of this group, who grabbed high-value jewelry before taking off once they realized the home wasn't vacant.
But the turmoil and controversy that have plagued GloRilla since she started making plays in the game are just getting started with this arrest. As she has risen from the bottom to the top, all she has encountered have been obstacles, rivalries, and downright hate speech. The streets do not adore you in return. Drama, beef, and hood politics. All right, everybody. After analyzing how the system deceived Our Lady with this fictitious arrest, it's time to look at the street drama and corporate politics that have surrounded GloRilla since she first gained public notice. This latest legal issue did not just happen overnight, I assure you. As part of a broader trend, people are trying to discredit a young black woman who is making approaches. First, let's avoid talking about her past legal troubles, because understanding how these police have been functioning is essential to understanding the entire picture. The April 2024 DUI incident wasn't your normal traffic stop. It was a whole situation. The film showed how young, gifted black artists are treated by law enforcement. Consider this. Around 4 o'clock in the morning, GloRilla is stopped in Gwinnett County for turning around at a red light. That looks like a normal traffic violation on the surface, doesn't it? The events that followed, however, show how these tags function when they detect money and achievement in a local youth. The officers said her whip smelled like booze and herbs. She performed poorly on the field sobriety test and wasn't attempting to blow in their tiny machine. It's very astonishing that this situation is exactly the same as what recently happened. Police continue to concentrate on drug-related offenses even when there are more urgent problems. But these police encounters are only one aspect of the legal drama. GloRilla has been dealing with fierce industrial politics and corporate rivalry. That would break most people. The worst disaster is her connection with Hit Kid, who produced the beat for the song that made her famous.
GloRilla is talking about the F&F song and how she hasn't made any money from that song. This is all in response to Hit Kid, who is publicly claiming that there could be a potential legal battle on the way.
This is not a simple artist-to-artist conflict. A full-fledged legal dispute is raging about who truly owns one of the hottest tunes in recent memory. In a forceful statement released in October 2022, Kid claimed GloRilla and CMG Records tried to defraud him of the ownership rights without telling him. The accusations were obviously harsh and showed a young artist engaged in some major industry antics. Hit Kid didn't hold back. I told you and your management every day when we were in LA with Sweetie that labels would attempt to sign you because of F&F. Thus, exercise caution. I also asked you to let me know when labels contact you so that we can agree. Nevertheless, you signed my music without telling me.
I made so much money from FNF and I haven't made not one red cent other than shows, but I'm still prospering because guess what? I can rap in real life and ain't no MF one-hit wonder. I wrote every single lyric in every single song I ever put out.
GloRilla's response was distinct and revealed the extent of the pressure she was under. Her assertion that the only thing she made from her greatest achievement was performing is utterly ridiculous and exemplifies how these industry vultures respond when they see emerging ability. But the corporate turbulence is simply one facet of the upheaval that has accompanied her rise to the top. The public has watched everything she does. And some of the arguments have been obviously manufactured dramas meant to discredit her. One incident that really showed her character was when she used the R word in a social media song clip in August 2024, which drew criticism. Instead of being stubborn or ignoring the criticism, my BH became nasty after people called her out, and she really changed the lyrics for me. That behavior shows that she is more than just another rapper who doesn't care about her influence. The fact that she's being regarded like an experienced criminal while she's actually trying to protect the rights of her community is even stranger because she actually listens to them and adapts when needed. The drama didn't stop there either. The churchgoers came for her neck when her incredible record included the gospel hits Rain Down on Me by Kirk Franklin and Maverick City Music. There was a split within the gospel community as a result of some people believing that she was going too far in fusing religious and street music. These Christian gospel artists need to stop compromising. People were yelling as the criticism heated up. Souls can be reached in a variety of ways. The inclusion of Kirk Franklin, Kiara Shear, and Maverick City on GloRilla's record is astounding. Her supporters, however, persisted and reminded everyone in her hometown. The congregation in the church became enraged when Glo wrote a song that suited Kirk and Maverick City. Additionally, my brief Google search revealed that Glo was raised in a church, served there, and sang in the choir. This whole issue showed how hard it is for local artists to manage staying true to their traditions while addressing their present circumstances. She is trying to honor her past while being truthful about her current circumstances. But people try to confine her. But the most painful drama has been the issue with Glossip, her first-day homegirl. This case illustrates how success may destroy even the strongest local friendships. GloRilla and Glossip's problems have started to show in public as a result of rumors that have divided their fan bases and created a total disaster.
What's going on, entertainment? So today I'm coming to y'all with another video. So in this video, you guys, we're talking GloRilla and Gloss. You guys all know they're coming up together, and it seems like recently, you guys, some of her team is not really too much feeling Gloss.
Things became exceedingly nasty when Glo supporters started accusing Glossip of providing JT with information about Glo's company. The charges, which included claims of betrayal and snitching, were extremely devastating because these were meant to be day ones who came up together. These kinds of personal disputes take on a different tone when confronted with wealth and fame. When you are dealing with legal battles, business troubles, and public issues, the last thing you need is for your own employees to turn against you. But that's the truth of the game. Success changes everything, especially your closest relationships. Furthermore, the report shows that GloRilla has been managing some outlandish conspiracy theories and personal attacks. In 2022, some people started to suspect her gender identity based on a video that went viral. This is the kind of impolite mess that Black women who are successful have to live with all the time. These attacks on their identities show exactly what occurs when young Black women from the hood begin to take things seriously. It is not enough to criticize her music or economic decisions. They come for her entire life and want to ruin her identity. I think they said that Kadeem Phillips, the creator of Power Entertainment, who broke off the contract with Hit Kid and GloRilla, had this view. These business disputes, personal betrayals, and public attacks all result in a picture of a person handling constant pressure. When you're fighting not just felony charges, but also industry vultures, bogus friends, and online trolls, that someone could maintain their sanity, let alone have a successful job, is astounding. But the irritation of all of this is only increased by the fact that these arguments seem to be leading to something more important, as though there was a deliberate effort to discredit her accomplishments. The most recent arrest appears to be the system's attempt to penalize someone for refusing to remain in their job, rather than a random act of bad luck after all these other setbacks. The fact that she has been able to cope with all of this chaos while showcasing her genuine street toughness by continuing to put out successful records and sell out shows. It also demonstrates the difficulties that affluent young black women from the neighborhood encounter when they start to establish themselves in fields that were not intended for them. It's the streets against the system when success turns against you. When young black success starts to garner attention, it's critical to consider the implications for our society and the system's underlying dynamics. For GloRilla's situation isn't exclusive to one musician. This whole cycle has an effect on every neighborhood youth who is trying to better their situation.
If they ain't trying to steal, they trying to put a case on you, man. They trying to put a case on you. Instead of them looking for the suspects, then the suspects are long gone. I can guarantee you they haven't devoted any resources into trying to find out who actually robbed her.
Let's talk about GloRilla's response to this whole reverse situation, since her words had a greater influence than any lawyers could possibly have. On July 24, 2025, she spoke up, and everyone nodded in agreement with her unadulterated street truth. My house was broken into on Saturday when I was performing at the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis. And instead of pursuing the culprits, they focus on some marijuana. That's this frank conversation that cuts past legalese and political correctness to expose the real problem. But she didn't stop there. Her follow-up was even more successful. In conclusion, once my house was broken into, I was the only one arrested. The simplicity of the remark is what makes it so distressing. It encapsulates how completely dysfunctional this entire system has become.
Every now and then there are real crimes that happen. Well, not every now and then, but there are real crimes that happen. Let me see you run out there and go arrest the bad guy.
Let's concentrate on what this case truly shows about how the system treats successful young black women who come from nothing. Hip-hop artists have long been the object of scrutiny, even though GloRilla's situation shows a level of disdain and targeting that is really unsettling to witness. Think about the schedule. She wasn't even in the state when these armed men smashed into her home. While doing a respectable job at a family gathering, she was the victim of a violent felony. But in one sense, she's risking more severe legal consequences than the actual perpetrators who terrorized her family with weapons. If that doesn't show you how rigged this game is, nothing will. The response from the community has been amazing, and it was required. Lawmakers like Georgia State Representative Ruah Rahman took a position and called for the charges to be dropped, pointing out how out of date it is to focus on small drug possession in light of recent house invasions by armed bandits.
I never want nobody to have that much power over me where I can't eat.
Yeah.
No.
But what's really remarkable is how GloRilla has continued to work despite all of this pressure. Her Glo Bash show in Memphis went as scheduled just a few days after her arrest, according to the research, proving that in the real world of street culture, the hustling never stops. This pertains to the legal difficulties of multiple artists, relates to the intentional targeting of successful young black individuals. Every time someone from the hood walks out and starts doing something real, the system always tries to destroy it. Down. Whether it is through open criminality, economic interference, or legal harassment, the pattern is consistently the same. Let's talk about the financial warfare aspect of this issue, since these legal concerns are endangering not only her freedom, but also her bag. GloRilla has been building a strong touring industry, with major events like the Glorious Tour scheduled to start in March 2026. if she is charged with a felony. She may forfeit these opportunities as well as millions of dollars in legitimate income.
What is net worth exactly calculated off of? What you done bought?
No, so your net worth means like what is your assets minus your liabilities.
Shit, I need a pencil and paper for this.
This is made even more agonizing by the fact that she has already been fighting legal challenges over her biggest achievement, FN, and the money from it. She has been attempting to safeguard her financial future while also dealing with charges that have the potential to ruin everything. The broader implications for hip-hop culture are really appalling. If successful artists may be imprisoned for being the victims of crimes, what message does that send to all the young children in the neighborhood who have dreams? How many talented kids will give up on their goals, seeing how the system treats even the most well-known artists?
Disguise yourself in some crazy way, or
When I do go, I always have a bunny and my glasses on, and sometimes I wear a mask.
But this is what makes GloRilla's tale so encouraging, despite all the chaos, legal troubles, and intentional targeting. She has stayed true to herself and faithful to her community. According to the newspaper, Shtay has remained steadfast in her support of her people and her contributions to Memphis schools, proving that her success hasn't changed her morals or made her forget her heritage. Her commitment to bettering her town makes her current legal situation even more offensive. By using her position and resources, this person is improving the lives of young people. But she is being treated as a threat to society by the exact system that should be protecting her. The report also emphasizes how extremely challenging it is to succeed once you've arrived. What's so disturbing is that these attacks all seem to be premeditated attempts to systematically ruin someone. Legal battles drain emotional and financial resources. Public disputes destroy the reputation and value of your brand. Business disputes put your revenue streams in jeopardy. Your support system becomes distant from you as a result of personal betrayals. The combination of all these stresses can create a perfect storm that could destroy even the strongest person. But GloRilla hasn't simply survived these carefully thought-out attacks. She has managed to prosper in spite of them. Her impressive record, which reached number 5 on the Billboard 200, shows that she has the talent, perseverance, and street smarts to achieve even when everything is against her. Let's look at how this case may affect changes to the criminal justice system. Because GloRilla's predicament is a prime illustration of every flaw in our system's functioning. The fact that the victim is facing major criminal charges while the real burglary investigation is still ongoing and no arrests have been made demonstrates just how out of step these priorities have become.
This would have been a much better story if they had said, and the police caught up with 3 bad guys and they arrested them, not the damn homeowner. But that's too much like right. Way too much like.
This case has turned into a focal point for all those battling for substantive justice reform. Something is seriously wrong with the way we handle public safety when police agencies invest time, money, and resources on obtaining search warrants for marijuana possession while armed robbers who traumatized a family are still at large. This issue has far-reaching consequences that go well beyond GloRilla. Success does not protect you from systematic targeting, as other artists are witnessing. The institutional problems that their favorite musicians face are causing fans to become more conscious. This case is being cited by legal experts as the ideal illustration of the urgent need for substantial change. The way GloRilla has utilized her position to draw attention to these more general structural problems is very noteworthy. Her own legal issues weren't the only thing she discussed on social media. Their goal was to draw attention to issues that impact entire communities nationwide.
I feel like in certain parts of the world it is.
but not in America.
I mean, I feel like it's some in America, not the one. I feel like the ones I like is none.
In terms of the future, this case could serve as a seminal illustration in the struggle for systemic change. The ideal circumstances for significant reform are created by a well-known victim. Obvious injustice, broad public support, and political participation. As an illustration of victim criminalization and misaligned law enforcement goals, this case is likely to be studied for years by legal scholars and civil rights activists. In addition to her amazing music, the hip-hop community has come together to support her since her struggle is a symbol of everyone's struggle for justice, dignity, and the freedom to pursue their dreams without fear of criminal prosecution. The system eventually fails us all when it fails one of us. And the case of GloRilla has turned into a potent reminder of that essential reality. One thing has become very evident as this story progresses. GloRilla is now a symbol of defiance against systemic injustice rather than just another popular rapper. She now has an even stronger platform to speak truth to power and demand systemic change as a result of the legal issues that were likely meant to destroy her spirit and quiet her voice. Millions of people will be closely watching the outcome of her legal action since her narrative reflects their own challenges. Whether or not real justice wins out in the end will reveal a lot about the kind of society we want and how much we actually believe in the equality and fairness we profess to cherish. This issue is more significant than hip-hop, a single artist, or a single court case. Whether young Black people from underprivileged origins can succeed legitimately without being routinely criminalized, for it is at the heart of this issue. And regardless of our origins or appearance, we are all impacted by that battle. I appreciate you watching. To view more videos like this one, click on one of the boxes that is currently playing on your screen.